Hi guys, Dr. Snippets here, and today I am reviewing the enemies of the third Doctor set. Now, some of you may not be expecting this review today if you have just watched my 20 Cybermats review, because I say this review will be tomorrow. Well, some of you will know that last night I uploaded the Cybermats review and we had a little technical hitch, and it was only uploaded in 360p and I cannot stand that quality. So I had to re-upload it when I got home because I was away at my grandparents' house. Did not have access to my computer, so I had to do it when I got home. Meaning the review for this was today, even though in that review I said tomorrow. So if it's taking you by shock, that's why. That Cybermats review was recorded yesterday and re-uploaded today. Whew, right, yes, let's get on with this thing. Now, all of you will know that I got this for Christmas, as many of you did. And I think a load of us can agree that it's a fantastic set. The only thing I don't think is very good about it is the price of it, which I will come on to right at the end when I do the ratings. Now, this figure includes 3 characters from the Third Doctor's era. So that was the years of 1970 to 1974, and we have the Auton from. Let's just go look at the box and see if it says what episodes they're from. Sorry guys, you all know I'm not brilliant at classic episodes. Yeah, so we have the Auton from Spearhead from Space, yeah, in 1970, and we have Omega in the middle there, and I know this one. I know he was in the Three Doctors, but I didn't know it was 1972. And then we have the Drashig, which was from the Carnival of Monsters in 1973. So the only one of them I knew nothing about. I haven't even heard of the episode Carnival of Monsters, but I've seen the Three Doctors. I know about Spearhead from Space. I'm pretty sure Spearhead from Space was it the Third Doctor's first adventure? I think it was. And was that the one that introduced the Master as well? Maybe not. I think the Master was a different Auton episode, but I'm pretty sure Spearhead from Space was the Third Doctor's first adventure. But you guys will know that, and tell me below, because I'd like to know. So yeah, we've got Auton, Omega, Drashig. Now, these figures are absolutely amazing. The only one that's not brilliant is the Auton. However, he's the worst in the set. However, compared to a standard figure, he's up there. He's top class, as you would say. Omega's taller than the standard figures, which is lovely, and he is the first ever figure to feature fabric on his body. And the Drashig is not only massive, he is a puppet. Now, lots of people were worried that their hands wouldn't fit in him. Now, because on Forbidden Planet it's said for small hands, however, he fits in my hands perfectly. I don't know about you. Well, I'm 13 and he fits on my hands fine. So, if you're younger or 14 or 15, he might fit on your hands. But obviously everyone has different hand sizes, so no guaranteeing it. Now, my dad told me when he wrapped these up that he saw them, because I'd never seen this set. Well, I have on YouTube, but he says they were beautiful figures, and I'm really looking forward to doing this review, and it's probably going to be a long one. Now, before I start, I have to review this packaging, because finally we know for a fact that the packaging first found on Leela is going to be a definite classic packaging, as it has been put on other figures and finally taken over to boxed sets. Now, it's very nice because we all know that it features a classic logo and it looks brilliant with the old blue colour. Because classic Doctor Who was very bluish, and then the David Tennant era, Christopher Eccleston era, which is what the old packaging was based on, was very orangey and fiery, and now Matt Smith has gone back to the sort of blue with a hint of purple and yellow, if you know what I'm talking about. But, you know, they all sort of have, like, their styles. classic era Doctor Who, the logo is often blue. So this packaging reviews can be very in-depth, so if you want to skip it, please feel free, but I'm going to go into lots of detail on it because it's gorgeous. Okay, so I lied a bit. Now, I've decided I'm going to do like a picture style packaging review because my review of the packaging wasn't actually that good. Sorry, my phone just went off. Yeah, my review wasn't that good and we're running out of time, so we've got to make it a bit quicker. So, let's take a look at the packaging. It's been given a lovely blue, as I've already mentioned. Diamond effect, everything that used to be like circles is now diamond, so the pictures and the bubbles. At the top left we have 5+, and then we got a little diamond that says what it includes, which says includes Auton, Omega and Drashig. And then we got the Doctor Who logo down there. Then we have a picture of the third Doctor as played by John Pertwee with his dates saying 1970 to 1974. Then we have the name of the set. And then we have the 3 pictures of the 3 characters included in the set, and we have the BBC logo and the character logo down the bottom. Then on this side we have the logo at the top, the 3 pictures again, and the exact same bubble saying what the set includes. And on this side we have a little thing saying designed to be detachable with a picture of Omega's head, and the rest of it is exactly the same as the other side. And on the back it is very nice, it's similar to the front without the window obviously. At the top left we got the Doctor Who logo, and we got the 3 images again enlarged with the exact same what it includes diamond. To the right we have a little bit of information about the 3 figures included in the set and the episodes they appeared in and which year the episode was aired. And then down the bottom we have the new style of all the Doctors and their dates, with the first Doctor being cut off a bit. Now, here you have Omega in his first appearance as found by the 3 Doctors in the 3 Doctors, and then hopefully we'll get a figure of his second appearance from the era of the 5th Doctor. Not too sure which episode though, sorry. And there are rumours that he will appear in one episode in Series 7. Now, the other things, a bit of background information on Omega if you don't know. He was a Time Lord engineer who created the Hand of Omega, and I'm pretty sure the Hand of Omega was what they were fighting over in Remembrance of the Daleks, correct me if I'm wrong. And didn't he and Rassilon or something, this is not what, I'm not sure about this, but he and Rassilon, they sort of founded like, you know, Gallifrey, how it is at the moment, Time Lord Empire, and I'm pretty sure that they sort of developed time travel, and didn't Rassilon betray Omega, and Omega got sucked into a black hole or something, or it might have been the other way around, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't because Rassilon was the president. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know all about that, but I know he was the Time Lord and he created the Hand of Omega. The rest of it, I'm sorry, I'm not too sure about. Alright, so this is our first ever Omega figure, and it is absolutely beautiful. And as I've said before, he's the first ever figure to include fabric clothing. Now, this is getting a lot of complaints because some people don't like the mix of plastic and cloth in his cloak. However, I personally love it. Now, on camera, this comes up blue, but it is actually purple with blue glitter, and it looks fantastic. It is gorgeous. And what else about him? Well, he's obviously taller than the standard figure, as you saw next to the Auton. I do not have time to get another figure to show you, but if you just want to skip back to when he was next to the Auton, because the Auton is a standard height. Yes, so as I've said, this figure is much taller, and he features some certain things to him by the removable head. I'm not sure why it's removable, but they made a point of mentioning it in the Forbidden Planet description, and it's really, and it shows so on the box saying designed to be removable. Maybe for storage or something. I'm not really sure. So, yes, let's have a quick look at him, and I'll show you some of his features. So mine, annoyingly, has got some black paint after the eye, which I'll just get focused on. There we go, sorry about that. But as you can see, my one has some black paint after the eye, which makes it look like there's an annoying gold line through the eye, but it's not, it's the end of his eye. It just looks like the eye carries on, which is slightly annoying. When you hold it like that, you get the classic Omega look, if that's even a word. It looks lovely. Now the detail on this head is absolutely fantastic. We have got a gold colour all over. We've got a texture that makes it look like iron, and we have the odd black dot everywhere all over him. And it's very shiny. It's not ridiculously shiny, but it's very shiny for a figure. On the back, we carry on the fantastic helmet appearance of him, and it is very accurate, looking lovely. Going down, we have this part of him, which I am once again not too sure what it is. It's very nice, and when you feel it, it's like you haven't touched it all night, and then you touch it, it feels so cold, this part, that you think is metal. But it's very solid, this bit. We've got these lines, this patterning, and the shiny, glossy texture to it. However, we still got, it's not ridiculously smooth. We have, it's made to look like bronzy iron again. And go around the back, we have it like that. Going down, as I've already said, we have the purple. You could say it's dark blue, but it's more hinting to purple in my opinion. But it looks completely dark blue on the camera, but trust me, it's not that blue. Yeah, we've got the robe. And on the hands, the same on both hands, we have got a extension of his neck piece just round his wrist, looking lovely with the same texture and detail. And then we have black hands, where this one is filled in for some reason, as you can see there, which is a bit strange. Normally they leave the gap between the fingers and the thumb. However, this hand isn't, as you can see there, which is a bit strange. And as I said, that hand's the same. Then going down, we just have his feet. And yes, I'm not trying to be creepy with this, but I'm going to lift up his robe because they've included detail all the way underneath, which is brilliant. I was expecting them just to put like white legs there with no detail. However, it's been done perfectly. We have got detail on his flat feet. His feet are really lovely because they're flat and curved. They're not ridiculously. I love that sort of style foot on action figures. Now we got that detail on there. And going up his legs, we got this metallic-y blue silver colour with patterns on it. And then going up to here, we got a weird symbol there. Oh dear, what is going on there? Up here. But then we've got the belt, like belt area going around. It's not really a belt, but still. And as you can see, I'm glad Underground Toys character, whoever's been involved in making this, have taken the time to put detail up there, even though it does sound a bit creepy and look a bit creepy when you decide to pull up Omega's robes. However, it is nice they've put it up there. Now, before I go on to articulation, I just want to show you that his head is removable like that, very easy to take off. As you can see there, it just fits on, and it just gives you a chance to see some of the underneath detail, which I'm also, again, very pleased that they have included. As you can see there, it's still under there, even though you don't see it all the time, the gold detail around the edge. And then we have the creepy beheaded Omega. Now, as you can see, it's got this like rim to it, where it's not just flat, it's like doot, 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 that sort of shape. I don't know why I put that noise in there. And then it's just black there. Now, as I just showed, it's very easy indeed to get its head off, but unfortunately it's not as easy to get on. But I just did it in one there. First time ever I've done it in one. Normally it takes a while, but yet still, even with the ease of coming off, when you think you're going to twist it, you you think it would come off if it's so easy to take off. However, it still twists a bit. So now we're going to move on to this lovely figure's articulation. Now this part of the review has been quite long so far, but luckily with Drashig it's not going to be that long because we don't have to do any articulation, just show you puppet and detail. So let's get this articulation done quick. So we have a slight twist at the head. We have ball jointed shoulders, yay, which do a 90 degrees. However, don't do a 360 for two reasons. One, this shoulder neck piece is blocking it, and two, the fabric would twist and possibly, if you did it too much, tear. So it does not do a 360. But then I'm not sure. You can't look under there, but it does have the second joint. That's what I just thought about looking for, but you can't. But however, I found it does have the second joint in the bicep, but it does not do 360. The max it does is a 180, maybe a 270, but it does not do 360 because once again the fabric twists. Then we have no on this hand wrist articulation, but we do a 90 degree at the elbow as always. I'm just going to look if it twists on this hand. Nope, we have no wrist articulation on this figure. Well, at least for mine at least. So then going down, if you put your hand up his robe, you have no waist articulation, which is a shame. Maybe if you give it a good pull, like so many of my figures I've said, oh, the waist doesn't move, but everyone says to me, I'll give it a good pull, and it works. And then we have the splits, which work perfectly because there's no solid clothes to block it. And we have legs that bend like that. And if I get back on the focus, we have no second joint in the thigh, unfortunately. However, we do have the knee bending 90 degrees and 360 degree foot articulation. Now, the only thing that makes this figure about 6.7 inches taller is the head. We have no extra like leg length or anything, just the helmet. Alright then, okay, now we're going to be moving on to Drashig. Okay, so as you can see the daylight is going very fast, so luckily we get Drashig done. My plan will have worked, then there's not much detail to cover on the Auton that needs daylight to show it off. So we can just get on with Drashig now. Now to start with, this is a puppet. It's very big compared to the standard figure, as you saw at the start. Everyone loves this figure that I know of. The only thing that people have been complaining about is his teeth are wrong. Well, apparently they are. But still, let's get on. So I'm going to start with his detail. Now, I want to get this done before we lose all the daylight. So, I'm going to see if the LED makes any difference. There we go, that's much nicer. Alright, so he's a very dark green, although the LED makes him look bright and colourful. Trust me, he really isn't this bright. So at the top we got his eyes. We have 6 eyes. They look epic, and if you look from the front and cover the other eyes up and just give him 2, hello, you look so funny. Yeah, so we got the lovely eye stalks at the top. All over his body we have this textured scaly skin, which feels lovely to touch. It's a brilliant figure. Absolutely fantastic. Going down we got these weird eye socket things here. We have 2 nostrils. Then we have his mouth, which actually has detail on the roof of the mouth. And then we have dirt effects all over his teeth, as you can see there, if we get a good focus. Lovely, lovely effects on the teeth there. And going down his body, we continue on around the front with the scales, and we have some white effects here. White colours. Go around, we have all the wrinkles, and then going around to the back, we carry on from the colour that was on the head. And going down, we have some green, almost armoured plating going down with that lovely detail and texture. And going around to the front, the green cuts off, and we get this lovely brown plating surface. Now this is not red or orange or bright red as it appears on the camera. It is a pure brown colour. It is very brown indeed. Just doesn't look it here. And it carries on onto the armoured scales all the way down, and then we have copyright stuff here printed on, which is actually, thank God, quite hard to notice when the light isn't on shining on it. So yeah, that is the detail. Now I'm going to show you how this here works. Obviously it's like a puppet. Now we go in, so you put your hand in, and then at the top there we have got a slot above his mouth and under. So we put our hand in, get it into place, very simple, and as you can see you just open and close his mouth. And that is all that there is, nothing more, but it's nice that they made him a puppet, and I have been informed that the original prop was a puppet. Sorry, puppet what? Prop and puppet. Yeah, no, the original prop was apparently a puppet this size. Now, I do not know this for sure. This is just what I've been told. And just as I'd like to mention, like reptiles and stuff, he has 2 holes in the roof of his mouth there, presumably for teeth. As you can see there. Very nicely done, the roof of his mouth. And then, yeah, going back to him, if you want more detailed look at his puppet attack, if you want more of that, check out my Christmas update, because I sort of go up to the camera like, but he's very nice on your arm, and I love the fact that they've included a Drashig puppet in this set, because some people are complaining, oh, it's stupid, who wants a puppet? Well, think about it, would you really just like, he looks brilliant like that, would you just like a lump of hollow rubber plastic looking brilliant when you can have a puppet, a rubbery plastic puppet that also looks brilliant? So the puppet is just an added bonus to it. Alright then, now I'm going to be moving on to the final figure of this set, the Auton. So the final figure I've got to review in this crappy daylight is the Auton, as appeared in Spearhead from Space. Now I'm pretty sure these were the first ever Autons, and yes, this figure is apparently a repaint of the Series 1 Captain Jack. I can see it in the body, but I don't remember Captain Jack having like this scarf up here. Yes, that is a hand. This scarfy area up here, but the rest does look like Captain Jack. However, this figure is good. It's the worst in the set, and always for me, I always get one figure that either has loose joints or the quality control isn't brilliant. And luckily for me, this time around, it's the worst figure. This one. However, if this is a standard figure, then he'd be up there. He's like A+. He's brilliant. Now, this figure comes with some accessories. When you get him in the box, we have his closed hand on. Now, I hope I don't break it this time, because on my Series 1 Auton figures, I broke the hands because of the joining bit. So now they're stuck on the open hand with no hole for the gun. Just this bit broke off. This snapped off while they were in there. So now we have that hand, and when you get him in the set, we have this hand in there, and then the gun hand package with him, and we have a nesting sphere. Now, in the pictures, the original pictures, this thing was clear, but now it's this lovely clearish pink ball of weird stuff. It's very nice. It's got a lovely, rough, strange texture to it. It's absolutely brilliant, and yeah, it's a bitch to get out the packaging if you don't want to open it, like rip the packaging open like I don't, but eventually you do get it out. And yeah, I love that sphere. So let's go on to this Auton. Now we're going to start off with the face detail on this figure, which I don't think will look so good if I turn the light on like I did with Drashig, but we're going to have a quick look, and it does. Now, it's obviously not actually this white as it shows here, it's more of a flesh tone, but which isn't actually that accurate because the original ones were this white.
Now we have this very creepy, serene looking face that has no facial expressions, and unfortunately it's very smooth. Just nothing special. I can see a few teeth in there, it looks like. And the eyes have no sort of pupil, which is actually quite accurate. Go around, we have the ears, and these just look like plain people with no facial expressions, just like the Series 1 Autons did. And while I'm mentioning Autons, I've heard that the Autons are having a whole episode again just to themselves in Series 7, so that technically means, other than the Roman Autons, because they weren't proper Autons, they were just, Roman Autons they were sort of just a cameo appearance, not quite cameo, because Rory became one, but, a proper Auton episode like Rose and classic episodes. So it'll be their first proper episode for 7 years, which will be nice. So, if I just take my hand away for a second, because I need a drink. Yeah, sorry about that. Going back, we have a very well done head. Going down, we have this white neck scarf, which goes all the way around. Then down, we have this like workers' uniform. Nothing really special, but we've got some nice detail and buttons on the body. And then plain hand this end, very similar to the other hand, when it is the same mould for the right hand when it is closed. And then we have the gun hand, which is very nice compared to the Rose Autons. We have the gun sticking out, and then we have the blue inside to it, and the brownish hinge, the yellow dot underneath, and then another red light above it. Then we have two holes in the drop down bit. I've always loved how Autons don't point their arm out like bang bang. They sort of just walk around silently just like that, going lovely things. I love doing gunshot noises. Yeah, so that gun hand is very nicely done. And then we're going down, we just have very, very boring legs. And we have some silver shoes, which on mine we have some few paint splodges, like there for example, which you can't really see. They're just there, there's a paint splodge, which is quite hard to see with the light shining off them. But I've been given a metallic silver, which is very nice, and as you can see they're very shiny, judging by the way the light reflects off them. Now, as I've just said, this figure is quite boring for the set, however it is brilliant. But I think it is a Captain Jack repaint because it's got the basic articulation we found back in 2006 with figures. So let's go on to the articulation. So we have a bit of head articulation, however I don't think it'll go all the way, and the neck scarf sort of blocks it. We have, obviously it's long, if this is a repaint, it's long before the shoulder ball joints. So we have 360 at the shoulder before the second joint. So all we have in the arm is 90 degrees at the elbow. And we have 360 wrist articulation on both arms, even if the gun hand is in on the left arm. Then going down, we have what looks like there should be waist articulation, but yet again not moving on mine, so mine is probably just a bit stiff. And then we have the splits, perfect splits, absolutely nothing to get in their way. We have legs bend like that, just a bit. Not perfect, because they only bend forward, in fact, because of this bit here. If you have a look, it's not brilliant, so the legs don't even bend back, they only bend forward on both legs, like that, however not back. We have no thigh articulation again, however we have the 90-degree knee articulation, and then we have no foot articulation at all, unfortunately, because it's moulded in, and this really looks like a 1980s guy going to a disco. And then we have as I said, no foot articulation. Okay, so now I've just got to show you how you change the hand over, which is quite simple. You just pull it out like that very carefully to make sure it doesn't break, but these look a bit more solid and they're much bigger than the Rose Autons. Then we have the handless Auton, take the other hand, give it a little wiggle so don't push it right in, and then we go. That's him with his non-gun hand, and now we have the gun hand here, and he has his little sphere thing, which is quite hard to get him to hold if you want him holding it, but there you go. So yeah, now we can turn the light off, and yeah, let's get on with the ratings for this fantastic set. So now it's time to do the final part and rate this set. Now, we have in front of me all the figures, which aren't very straight. It's a bit better. And I'm going to give them the ratings. So some of you may disagree with this. I'm giving Omega a definite 100% 10 out of 10. Drashig, some of you may disagree with this because for some reason some people don't like it. It's lovely, and I'm giving him a 10 out of 10. And the Auton, this is the one everyone's going to disagree with me, but I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10 because there is nothing actually wrong with him. The only reason people are dissing him is because he's, you know, the least exciting of the set. But if you take away the other two, he's a brilliant figure. So he deserves a 10 out of 10. And now, like I said, I do in the City of Death set, I now add the extra 5 onto it for accessories. Now, the Auton has a swappable hand with a lovely detailed gun. So I think that gives it a 2 out of 5. And the Nesting Sphere, which looks lovely, that lovely pink orb glowing in his hand, and it actually fits in his hand quite well. I'm going to give a... let's give it a... another 2, because it is very nice. So I'm not really counting Omega's head as an accessory, because it is his head. So that gives it a total rating of 34 out of 35. Now, I know I've said that I love this set, and I shouldn't really be marking it down just because of the lack of accessories, and I don't think the accessories in it deserve the extra 5 points. However, it's not just that, it is the price, which I said I'd talk about. Now, £45 for this set, it is £44.99, is a bit too much with all these sets coming out at the moment as well. Now, if you think about that, divide that by 3, do the maths, that's £15 a figure, which is a lot, especially when that's how much it's £5.01 just for an extra for an exclusive figure. Now, Drashig, he's definitely worth the £15. Omega, maybe 12 or 13. The Auton, he's a figure you would probably find for $9.99 if he was a standard figure. So, paying £15 for Omega and Drashig you can cope with, but the Auton is just not really fair. So, I think this set should be priced at £40 as an absolute maximum and then you're paying that bit extra for the exclusiveness. However, for a free figure set, this would be perfect. But it never happened due to exclusiveness and, you know, all the stuff it takes to produce it and the limited numbers. £30 for a free figure set would be the best. However, because that makes it £10 a figure. But £35, I think, would be the ideal price because, you know, it's got that extra £5 for the exclusiveness of the set. So yes, I think the price is a bit too much, but I'm only marking it down by 1 point because of that, mixed with the slight lack of accessories for something like this. It'd be nice to give Omega something. I don't really know what though. Probably a hand of Omega. However, I do love this set and I definitely recommend you getting it. It's got to be up there with the Chase set in my mind. Get it. It's really, really good. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review. That is all my Doctor Who figures Christmas presents reviewed now. And I forgot to mention in my review today for you that the Cyber Mats are actually in my stocking, even though I was there when we bought them. So yeah, I definitely recommend this set. That's all my figures done now. The only Christmas present I've really got to review is the Bump and Go Cyber Mat, which is awesome. But I might review the Series 6 Collector's Edition box set. Alright guys, I might see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching and see you soon.